these are the boxes I've been folding for probably, I don't know, as long as I've been folding. And I think I wanted to make sure that the paper, that I had a close-up shot so you can see, but I might pull it farther away, but we'll see. So the box we're going to do, this is a big one out of 12-inch scrapbook paper, and I stiffened it with stuff, and I put 4-inch tiles in those, and I'm just going to tell you what I do with them. This one is a little box that I made, and I put, this is when I first moved to Arizona, I made a book to go inside it. So it fits perfectly in the book, all 6-inch squares of paper, which is amazing. So this, we can show this at another time. And I think, Joanne, you took this class. I think I made this in the class with you guys. Here's another one. I just put stuff on top. And this is another one of those books. And this is actually, I think this is where I made one with you guys at Paper Metal Scrappers. But you can see I just made a book, put it in the box, and it makes a really amazing gift. If you don't have books to put inside, you can put food. Of course, I ate the food. This will be empty. But anyway, you put food, you can put candy, you could put all kinds of things. If you make a little one out of a small piece, you can put little, you know, like tooth fairy kind of things, or just little tokens of love, like a little heart inside. I mean, it's just really cool. Or if you want to make the box itself the gift, this is what I've been. You can do this kind of thing, or you can just use them for all kinds of things. So the hardest part of this whole thing, I think, is trying to figure out which papers I want. And you need 8 sheets of paper, and I'm going to do kind of a combination of papers. I'm going to pick some. So if I have 2 of this, usually you want even numbers. So let's say if I have 4 sheets of one style and 4 sheets of another, but you kind of want them even. So 2 of this, I'll have 2 of this color, and I think 2 of this color would be really pretty. And I'm going to go with the brighter color, so 2 of that. So 8 sheets of paper. What you do is you take 4 sheets and you set them aside, because those will be you're going to have the top and the bottom. Oops, if I can get that. I'm getting all thumbs. Here we go. There's 4 sheets. This will be one of the top or the bottom, and then I have 4 sheets, and I have 5 there, so there we go. So now I've organized my box in sheets. I'm going to move all this out of the way. So we've got 4 here, 4 here. So I'm going to set aside this set right there, and I'm going to concentrate on the top. And the reason I do the top first, they're both similar in the way they're folded, even though they're exactly the same size sheet. And it's amazing, the designer from Japan designed this so your box top is larger, just a little bit larger than the box bottom. And normally when you're creating a box, you will want to cut the sheet smaller so that the top can fit. But Miss Tomoko Fuse, the genius that she is, developed the folds in such a way so that you're still using the same sheet, but same size, but the box fits snugly and perfectly over the top fits over the bottom. So it's brilliant. It's a brilliant design, and she's the reason why I started getting obsessed with origami. So I'm going to just start. If you take all your sheets and you're going to fold them all exactly the same size or the same exact way, and I'm going to just start with one sheet. I'll start with the patterned one first, because you'll notice that these papers are double-sided, so you won't be able to tell probably. But what you want to do is, if you have single-sided paper, you want to start with the color or pattern side down on your table. So you just fold the paper in. There we go. I do this all the time. You fold it in half. This is the box top. You fold it in half, perfectly in half. Just make sure your edges are lined up nicely, and then crease. And what I want to let you know, after this demo, after I fold the first box, you don't need to fold along with me if you don't want to. You can watch. After I finish this box, I'm going to open up the mics. We can fold together. We can work through any issues we've had. But I'll do the demo from start to finish this first time. And then there will be a recording for people who need to go back to it, or for you, if you need to go back to it. So I'm opening it up here. So I've got this first fold done. Now my next fold is I'm going to take a triangle. I'm going to fold a corner right to meet that center, that crease that I just made. Just right here like this. So then I'm just going to turn it a little bit, and I'm going to make a little fold that goes diagonally from here. So this point will meet that point. And I'm just going to fold that. Okay, so I've done that. I'm going to flip it over, and now I have this side is the long side. I have a crease right here, and that crease I'm going to use to fold this corner, only this top corner. I'm just going to fold this up right to meet that crease that's right here. You can see it, it's a mountain crease. And that is really just a guide for me to do my next fold. Now I'm going to unfold this, and I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to fold it to this edge, this crease right here. So I'm just going to do this. It's easier for me to do it in this direction. So I'll just fold that. And it might get a little thick because like this is scrapbook paper. So it can get a little thick sometimes. So sometimes it's good to have a bone folder if you have one, or even a dull table knife, something kind of dull that you can help with the creasing, especially when the paper gets thick. Now I'm going to unfold it up to this point. So you can see I have this long part, some creases, and if I hold it to here, what I have is this is the part that I always had trouble with when I was, oh no, sorry. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So now I'm going to take this edge, this long edge, I'm going to fold it in half. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take this point and I'm going to bring it all the way across to this point here. And then I'm going to make my crease right along here. So now I have this. Now the part that I had trouble with when I was first learning how to do this, and I'm going to mark this with a pin. I think this will help. There's a little place, it's going to look like a house. When I was folding, I thought of it as a little house. So there's a crease, there's actually a crease line right here. You can see that. If you can see that, it looks kind of like a house, right? Or no matter what direction it is in, what you need to do is you're going to valley fold from here. You're going to valley fold that in half. So it's like you're folding a house in half. So and you don't crease all the way across. So I'm going to show you what I do now. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to valley fold right in that place, and I'm going to bring this edge, and what I'll do is I'll crease, but I'm going to stop right at this point. And that actually is a natural place to stop because it's where, if I turn it over, you can see that's kind of where it's a natural place to stop. So I have a little valley crease here. And what I do is while I hold it in my hand, I'm just going to bring this down and it becomes the side of a box. So just so you can see, the side of the box has already been made. One corner is done. So so I need to fold all the rest of them exactly the same way. Usually I like to fold them all together, and then we just make sure that they all park together. So I'm going to fold the second. I'll put this one into the side, and I'm going to do exactly what I did before. Fold it in half. And this is a little harder because it's solid paper, but to see, everything. And then I open it up, take the left corner and fold it to that first crease. Then I turn it just a little bit, kind of clockwise, just a little bit. And I fold it in half from point to point, long point to long point, and crease. Now, if I just turn the whole thing over, I'll have the long edge face going away from me, the pointing edge coming toward me, and I have this short side here. Then you'll see a crease right here. That crease is where you're going to take the top layer only and fold the crease up. Now, you notice this crease that I just made is where I need to make this meet. I need to fold this down, and it's just easier for me to turn it this way. So I need to fold that to meet that crease. You can see I'm kind of getting the sides kind of figured out. The dimension, you know, everything is starting to happen. So I'm going to unfold that I just did, and I'm going to bring this right edge, or this right point, all the way over across to meet the very top edge, and then I'm going to crease right here. So again, there's the house shape. I'll mark it again just so you can see that little shape in here, and it won't mess up my box, by the way, because it's going to be covered. And I just need to fold it in half right at this place. So this little edge, and the way I visualize it now over the years since I've been doing it, is this short part needs to meet that short part, this little part here and this little part here. If you just move it over to that spot and put your finger down on it, everything else is natural. Take your finger and just crease it up to that where you see where it's going to want to fold over naturally. So now I'm just going to take this part and fold it over. And now I have my second side. So, and I make sure that it matches with my first, and it does. Setting aside, and I'm going to fold again. We're going to do another one. Fold it in half. And you open it up. Fold the left corner to the center crease. Turn it just a little bit clockwise and fold the point up to the top, point to point. Make that fold. Flip the whole thing over so that your long edge is facing away from you, your long folded edge. And fold this little top layer corner goes right to meet that crease that's on the left side. And now this long edge gets folded down to this crease, bottom crease. So I'm just going to fold that. And I open it up. Same thing, I'll turn it over again so that my long edge is facing outward, or doesn't matter where, but you just want this long edge. You're going to make that fold, and you're going to fold this long edge in half and have that line up right to that edge, make sure that these are lined up. And then you make the crease. And again, if you can remember the little house shape, you fold that right up, and you will see your creases should line up like this crease and that crease below. You can see that all lines up. So I'm going to just kind of show you how that lines up, and all I need to do is crease it to that place, and then it naturally will fold down. And then you just kind of help the crease out a little bit. All right, number 3 is done. So now one more. Now we're going to, last but not least, fold the last piece in half. Left corner goes to the center crease. Open that up. No, you don't open it. Sorry. You just keep it closed. And then just turn your paper and fold everything up. The point goes up to the point. You make your crease. Now flip it over so you see the crease. Now I noticed that if you see, I have a little misalignment here. I couldn't see it very well. So I'm just going to kind of correct it right now, because it will give me problems as I assemble the box. So, oops, it's really misaligned now. So I'm just going to go and try to correct that. And that's a good time to do it now rather than later. Of course, this paper may not be perfectly square. It's a possibility. So I'm just going to have to live with that. So now here we are at this place where we have the crease on the left side. We have the long edge away from us. And we're folding the top layer up to this crease, and unfold that, and take this folded edge and fold it down to the crease you just made. And open that up. and take this long part, this long edge, which is really the edge of one of the lid of your box. You're going to fold that in half, making sure that this lines up. And then the very last step is to make this fold in half and stopping the fold right at that place where it just sort of wants to stop anyway. And then the last step is just to kind of help it along and fold that down until it becomes a three-dimensional piece. And now we have all four. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to look at the screen for a second. And I want to tell you if you can give me I can't do with Joanne. That's okay. I know you can do it. Cindy, so are you following everything? Just you can give me a thumbs up if you feel like we're good, or do you need to? Okay, good. Awesome. So now we have the four pieces, the four parts. This is the fun part. This is the magic, I think. I'm always amazed each time. So I'm going to take the one side. So if you imagine, if you hold, the best way to do this is you always hold it in the same way to assemble. I'm going to put the pointed edge going up toward my wrist, and I've got the flat edge out towards the ends of my fingers. I'm going to hold it like this is, I'm kind of cupping the side of the box. And I'm going to bring in, and you can imagine there's a pocket here. And this is actually a tab. This will be something that you'll be inserting this tab into this pocket. And you can see the pocket is here, right there, and the tab is there. So you insert always hold, let's say you're going to hold the flat edge, and you're going to insert that pointy edge inside, and you want to just slide it. It slides freely, but you don't want to slide it all the way down, all the way through. Just go about a little more than halfway, but you should be able to slide it, but test it to make sure it slides freely. Even if you want to test it farther, but just kind of pull it back a little so it doesn't completely, engage. Now I'm going to just turn it, and I'm going to have another. So I'm turning it clockwise, and I'm going to have another place to put my point in. So I have a little pocket, and this I'm bringing in the same direction the way I brought in the last one, and I'm just going to slide that in same way, and I'm not going all the way. And now I've got three pieces together, and this is where we have to be. So we turn it a little bit, just have to be mindful what we're doing, but there's really no way to mess it up. But there's ways to back up if it's not working right. So you just put the point into the pocket, and now here's the fun part. So you slide it. That's why we don't completely close it all up at once. So on the last one, we need to get that point in the exact same way. So I'm just going to put it in there, and there's a little bit of bending, a little pliable. You've got your papers pliable enough. I'm just going to slide it in, and I'm not doing anything yet, but it's pretty much together, except what I do at this point is I turn it over, because when you're sliding the pieces together, it's good to know what's happening on the top. So now I'm going to take all 4 points, and I'm just going to slide them. And as I start to slide them, I want to make sure all these flaps are going underneath the, everything goes underneath. And then it will slide together. Once you get everything, kind of move it together until they all lock underneath. And once that happens, like this one's being fussy. Come on, go on there. There we go. Nope, that was still. There we go. Now, because everything's under, now I can just gently kind of go slowly, because it depends on the paper you have. If you have really thin paper, it may not go as easily. So just kind of play with it until it locks together as far as it will go. And then turn it over, and you can see this magical interlocking going on. And I just I kind of just crease the inside a little bit. So now we have the top, and it's done, and it looks gorgeous. Okay, so, and then if you had problems with that, don't worry. We're going to get through this. I'm going to do the bottom. Let's say if you didn't, let's see. Can you show me the top? I'm just curious if you're able to assemble it. I know Leah. We lost Leah for a minute there, but I'm going to go ahead and do the bottom. So, okay. So yes, at the end of this demo, I will. Oh, there she is. Hi, Leah. She's doing it. Okay, so now that you have your assembled pieces, put them aside and we're going to fold the bottom. And then after I turn this demo off, then we're going to work through this together. So, so just put your box pieces aside if you haven't, if they're not together, that's okay. Let's start folding the bottom and then we'll assemble everything together afterwards. So at the bottom, take all those 4 pieces and I'm going to fold. This is a similar but not exactly the same. So start by folding it in half with the color side on the table. And open it up. Now here's where we go different. So I'm going to fold this bottom edge right to that center crease that I just made. And I'm going to just turn it at a 45 degrees. So I've got my folded edge to the right. And I'm going to fold the whole thing in half. And crease really well. Make sure your creases are really sharp. It really helps. And open it up. Turn it so that your folded edge is at the top. And you're going to fold this corner up to that center crease. Just the left corner goes right to that center crease. So now we have this. Now, the way to make this 3D, this is a little bit easier actually to do the bottom. To make this 3D, I need to fold this part. It's not a straight line, but basically this part goes right to there. And I don't cross over, I only fold this part. So I'll show you how I do that. I just take it and I fold it and I kind of make sure my point is really good before I, just before I crease. And I'm just going to crease it and I'm going to go up to that place, that little place right there where it's pretty natural right now to stop. And then I'm just going to fold it down. And now I have a box side. So that we're going to do that 3 more times. So we've got one side of the box done, set it aside, and we're going to do it again. So this is actually easier to fold. The bottom part is easier actually than the top, but the bottom is probably a little harder to put together. So it kind of a trade-off. So now we're going to fold it in half. The second piece is going to be folded in half. We open it up, fold the bottom edge to the middle crease. Turn it so that you can fold. You have your folded edge on the right side going that way, vertically, and just fold it in half, the whole thing. Now you open that and just turn it again 45-degree angles so you have your top folded edges at the top. And I'm going to fold my left corner to meet just that center crease. And then this part I'll fold in half and then I will stop here. I won't crease it any farther, but just fold at an angle right here. I'm going to do it by just taking the easiest way and the best way is just to get that point, because you'll know you're accurate if you've got this point nice and sharp. Then I bring my fingers up to that, right to that place where it shows that fold. You can see my crease right here. And I just drop it down and I have another side of a box. Then you kind of shape it with your fingers a little bit. Set it aside and we'll do 2 more. So fold it in half. Your third piece will be folded in half. Open it up, fold the bottom edge up to that first crease. Turn it at a 45-degree angle with the folded edge on the right and fold it in half. When you open it up, turn again 45-degree angles. And you'll see you'll have the folded edge at top. The bottom edge, that bottom corner, you want to fold up to the center crease. Now, remember the last fold, this is the very last fold, is to fold this right here, only this part. Make a valley fold right here. So if you just make this neat, go right to the top here, make sure your point is sharp, and then bring your finger up to the right to that spot where it doesn't, seems to want to be a good place to stop. And then fold it down, just bring it down. It's not a new fold, it's just kind of taking, making it three-dimensional. So now we have 3 pieces, and they should all be exactly, the points should be pointing the same way, and the flat parts should be the same direction. So the last paper, or the last piece, we're going to fold it in half. And open it up. Bottom edge goes up to the center crease. We turn it 45 degrees. We've got a folded edge. On the right side, we're going to fold the whole model in half, making sure everything kind of lines up before I make my crease. And I'm going to open this, turn it, and I have a corner, the left corner, I want to bring to that center middle crease. Then the last step is to fold this little square area, point to point, and just kind of follow your lines and make sure you have a point. And this is just a very mindful, very peaceful, it can be very peaceful. Fold this up to right to that little place. And now get this part to come down by just pressing down and folding on existing creases. We don't want to make new ones. So now there are 4 sections. Now what I'll do is I'll assemble this, and then after I assemble this, I'm going to turn my camera so I can see you, and we'll work through it together. So, but I'll assemble this and I'll go slowly, but if you can't get it this first time, it's okay, we'll work through this together after I finish this little part. So I'm going to take my, so the way this is instead of having 2 points, you see there are 2 flat parts. You're going to, you're going to have to go, in this time, you're going to hold the 2 pieces of, you're going to have them to get, next to each other. This is going to have to slide into this side. So the right side is going to slide into the left side. And I need to find, the way it works is this whole part is a pocket. So if I can slide that in freely, that's the right way. If you try it any other way, it won't work. So you need to slide this, the whole thing needs to slide in. So I'm just going to slide, I'll slide it, but I won't slide it all the way, just like I did the other one. This time I'm going to rotate it to the left counterclockwise, and I'm going to bring in my 3rd piece, and I'm going to, you see this whole thing, sometimes I even start it right at the bottom just so I know, I want to get all the layers, I want to be able to slide that in, all inside both this part and this top part. I'm going to slide that part in, and I'm going to just rotate all the pieces, and the last piece, you can see it's probably harder because it's solid sheet, but I need to get that, and this is how I started. I just kind of go in through the bottom and I get it so that that part is slid in. Now, the trick of this one is I need this bottom part right here, this little bottom point, that needs to be flipped under, it needs to be flipped and come up, all the way up. See what I just did? I just flipped that, and now I've got to slide this left, I have to slide the right piece. Okay, I'm getting it in there. I'm sliding it in. Now, I know I'm right. I know it's okay. If I turn it over, and I can kind of see that this little point right here needs to go under. I think it needs to go, let me slide it a little bit better. Something I did wrong. See, I even did it wrong. It's been like, okay, this is what you do. When that happens, I was talking and thinking, let me just do it. I'll just do it real quickly and see how I do it. I'll just go ahead and slide. And this part I'll slide. And this part I pick up that point And I'm going to bring those together. Now, this should be together. It should work. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I don't know what happened, but something didn't get put up there correctly. So now I'm just going to keep sliding. And if something wants to kind of stick, which sometimes they do, especially on certain papers, this has a little rough texture, I make sure I can slide these and kind of make it sure it's even when you're doing this, and then you just push together the same as you did with the other one. And sometimes you might get a side that wants to be stubborn, but just work with it until it meets the edge. And this one was a little wonky, and I don't know why, but it still will work. I'm just gonna, there we go, maybe give it a little more of a push. And now my box will fit right over, the top will fit right over the bottom. I actually saw this